Good morning, friends. It's Julie Norman, and today we're back into planners. And today we're going to talk about how the first quarter of 2021 went in my handmade junk journal traveler's notebook, and this is in the wide size. Excuse me, I had a typewriter that on my desk that had this old ribbon, and it was just crumbling. So there is still some white stuff floating around that I missed. So if you see this little white stuff, that's what it is. Okay, I did a video on this before I started, so I will link that for you. And let's just flip through and talk about how first quarter went. My theme for the year is transform, so I wanted to put that up front. And welcome to 2021. Now the funny thing is that for a while there I was burning up more than one of my journals a month, but for some reason I just slowed down. And I think it's because I'm feeling better. I'm not sitting at my desk as much. So this is a card somebody gave me, just a feel better card. I've been going through a lot of health stuff. So, and I did put pockets in here. And excuse me, sometimes these pockets like that with the staple bound come up like that. My future ones are sewn in. And my calendar this year is Mr. Rogers. Now, one thing that I didn't realize about Mr. Rogers, which I should have, is that a lot of the quotes are about children. Hello, I should have thought about that. So not every day is a quote for me, but that's okay. And I also started the AIP, Autoimmune Protocol Diet, on the 4th. So for a while I just noted how long that I was doing that for. And I really love how each page is different. This is a nice and yellowed one, and you'll see as we go. And here is my little, what do you call it? When you take song lyrics and redo them. Instead of Bon Jovi's Living on a Prayer, I have Living on a Flare. Thought you might get a kick out of that. Those of us with chronic illnesses, issues, that's my humor. Making, you gotta have some lightheartedness when you're dealing with stuff. So some of these pages I just added stickers, and sometimes I wrote on them. Some of these I did grunge up the edges to make it consistent with the book. Here is just these little pieces, bits and pieces. It just was fun. Here is when I did the Love Notes planning method. Here's my little Good Morning Beloved. Here's what I need to do. This is from a Silk and Sounder page, and I just did a little grunging and Brene Brown, just a little bit of encouragement in these, and I added some stickers, of course. I did a lot more stickering in this one, but I'm not doing as much stickering anymore. It's interesting. I'm not using as much washi as I used to. I think that with these kind of books, I just don't seem to need it because it's just pretty on its own. I really enjoy this. This was actually an envelope, and I don't have anything in this one. I guess I could tuck something in there if I want, but I didn't need it. Here is some notes when I started to read some organizing books. I think this is the only time when I stopped reading the book, so obviously that didn't really help me. I would love to hear how your first quarter went. Are you going through a journal a month, less than a month? Does it take you longer? I was really surprised that this took me like 3 months to get through. Okay, here is my focus board, which I think I showed you on a different one. And with the staple bound, this is coming out, so I'm probably going to glue this down or something. But when I put this in my traveler's notebook cover, the elastic should keep it down too, because I'm going to put this in the archive cover. And here's another spot where I glued it down where it was coming apart. And another little pocket. I put more pockets than I needed. This was when we traveled, took a new road. And I have one of those little Canon Ivy photo printers, which I really like for this purpose of these. It's not archival really, it's just for the memories. The centerpiece. Now we're at the end of February and March. So again, this is a Silk and Sounder page, extra page. I don't use them all. Just some old note paper. And here I was teaching, doing a lot of sub-teaching page. This was part of a page that I already put in there, just somebody's notes. Here's a reintroduced green beans that worked. This morning I tried coffee and I started sneezing, so I don't think that was a good thing. I had some little allergy, so coffee might be out for me. And butterfly is also kind of a theme for me. It's a transforming, so I want to have lots of butterflies. Do you have a theme that you're carrying through your year? I know some of you have already told me a few of your themes. How is that going for you? Still cold. Yeah. This week we get some snow. We were in 70s, now we're not. I love this page. I showed you this one before. I'll read this quote again, which I did kind of like, what do they call it? What is that? poetry where you block out what you don't want. If I remember, I'll put the word above. From a little bio piece on the artist who did this series that I saw at the Yellowstone Art Museum. She gave herself the gift of time to create and traded economic security for a state of constant exploration. She combines a childlike joy and playful inquisitiveness, reflecting her personal metamorphosis and the interconnected, constantly changing nature of life. So I love that page. I'm actually thinking I might take this page out, and because there's nothing on the, I purposely didn't journal on the back, and put this up so I can see it more often, because I won't see this again probably till I review this. That just really hits me. I love that quote and how that turned out. And just a little bit of art. Oh, cracked a tooth. Had to go in for that. I have a lot of old fillings, and I was thinking that I remember when I was a kid, every time my sisters and I would go to the dentist, we'd have a cavity. And we brushed our teeth morning and evening, and I'm beginning to think that that dentist was taking advantage of our family, because we all have a mouthful of fillings, and my other friends didn't have. That didn't go to that dentist. I don't know. Maybe it was a Kool-Aid. I liked Kool-Aid when I was a kid. So, let's see here. Just more journaling. We're into March now. Just gonna cover that up. This is when I was seriously considering joining Color Street, which is the nail strips that I do, because they were having an extra deal in March. But I've thought about it, and I've thought what I was telling you guys about how we need to limit how much we do. I think I could do it really well, but then I would have to drop something else, because I only have so much time and energy. If I had more unlimited time and energy, I would probably get on that, because I love the stuff. You know, it just didn't work. And we got our vaccines too. My husband and I are both high risk. So just some more stuff we did. Yarn. Oh, we had our spinning guild has our annual fiber related garage sale, so I sold a bunch of stuff. I'm just not doing that as much as I used to. And didn't this turn out cute? I just love these little vignettes. And I'm almost thinking I should take these out and frame them. But then I journaled on the back. Oh, and Dexcom. Here's when I started my Dexcom. Here's my second pandemic birthday. I journaled. That's all I did of journaling. Had a really interesting dream. Here's the YouTube Q&A that I did, and I wrote it in here just because I wanted to gather it somewhere. And then I tucked in my birthday cards in the back, just a few of these. I didn't tuck them all in. And some of them were just too big, so I cut them down so I would have them in the back, just to remember. And that is it for the first quarter. And I ended it on, what date? April 1st. So that's it. And here's the back cover of that. And the next one that I already have in my journal, this is my Traveler's Notebook. This is a Carpe Diem. I did put a few stickers on here. I don't know, I can't resist. I love these Sticky Club ones. I think these are all Sticky Club except for the Montana. They kind of blend in with that. So this is my current one. I think this is a little bit bigger. Or is it the same? Yeah, it's just a little wider. It's just because they're handmade and I don't always get the measurements right, and so it does overhang a little bit, but it's mostly sitting at home, so it doesn't bother me too much. I did do a little bit of a vision board focus thing here of things that I want to remember. And that's all I've done. Monday, April the 5th. I finished copying Leviticus this morning. I don't know why, but I am just not journaling like I was. I don't know if it's just that mental energy or I just don't feel like saying anything. I feel like I go through phases in this. So, do you guys go through phases too, or do you just make yourself write something? Because there are things that have been happening, and I even had Easter and just have slowed down a lot. There was a time when I would write 2-page spreads, like here and this for one day. And for some reason, since April 5th, that's all I've got. Just the state where I am right now, and I have been focusing a lot more on my Shoppa booth. It seems like my brain is only able to focus on 1 or 2 things at a time, like big things. And there is a video that I saw, The Minimal Mom, where she had 2 videos about this on the 4-burner theory, where you have if you picture a stove and has 4 burners, stovetop. One of them represents family, one is work, one is health, and the 4th one is friends. So they say that if you have them all going full blast at the same time, you don't do any of them well. You have to turn down or turn off one in order to do better at the others. And to do really good, you need to turn off or turn down 2 of them. So that's how I kind of feel like with what I am focusing on, not just those 4 categories, but when I think about the journaling or the planning is one burner, the antique booth is another one, my health and the autoimmune protocol diet is another one, and then like my house and my personal life is the other one. Right now I'm feeling like the antique booth and the health are the big ones that I've got the burners turned up on. When I have those turned up, I'm not really doing the planning as much. It's low key. And I am not doing my house as much. If you saw my house, you would agree. So I'm feeling like that is right, like with the focuses in life. That, I have these here, all of these. I can't juggle them all, but I can keep like 2 burners going well, and the rest has to be either on a low burn or off. I'll have those videos linked below. It's just interesting to think about, especially if you have limited energy, ability, time. That just to be realistic. It's not that somebody says you can't do this, but what is reality for you really? Are you able to have all 4 burners turned up and it all cooks together and there's no mess, there's no spilling, there's nothing's getting burned up because you forgot to attend to it? Or do you have to turn down 1 burner or 2 burners or turn something off? So I thought that was really interesting. That's probably why I'm feeling like I am not doing this, because yeah, I can do it. I mean, I could make myself do this, but it's not coming naturally. And sometimes if I force myself into doing something, then I am not going to do well at it. And I know I'll come back around, and I'll probably, maybe if my booth goes more on autopilot, I can turn that down. Then I know that something else can be turned up a little bit. So that is my theory for why this is happening. I don't know if let me know if this happens to you too. I know a few of you have mentioned that you're doing less planning as things open up and things are changing. It's just part of life. Part of the fun of life is trying new things and doing different stuff. And life is always changing, and it's an adventure. So let's embrace it and not hold ourselves back by the past, and go forward and just do what we can with what we have. So that's what I have for you today. Hope you enjoyed this, and I wish each and every one of you, each of my friends, to have a joyful day. Goodbye.